So let me take this whiteboard. So in the last class, we have seen what is the phase. What is the phase? We have understand what is phase. So phase is nothing but the chemically homogeneous, physically distinct and mechanically separable part of the system. If all these three conditions are met, we can call it as a phase. Next, we have seen what is component. So component is the independent chemical species that defines the composition of the system. So component, we have seen what is component. Let me write it clearly. It's very difficult to write with the mouse, but it's okay. I will try it. Component. So what is component? It is the independent chemical species that defines the composition of the system. Okay. Next, we have seen the what is solubility limit. What is solubility limit? Solubility limit. So how we have defined this solubility limit? The maximum amount of solute that can dissolve in a solvent. Okay. Or the maximum concentration for which a single phase solution occurs. Single phase. Okay. The single phase solution will occur only when the solute is going to be dissolved completely in the solvent. Okay. Now we have seen that the solubility limit for this water and sugar phase. Okay, so we have seen like this. We have got a diagram like this. If let me tell you, then we have got a diagram like this for this is the pure water over here. This is pure water, means without any sugar, pure water. And here we are increasing the concentration of sugar. Okay, and here we are having this temperature. Okay, so on this axis we are having temperature, and on this axis we are having concentration, weight percent of sugar. Okay, so here we are having 10, you can say 10, 20, so on. Okay, here we are having 100% sugar. So here we are having pure water. And now how to draw this diagram? Suppose you want to draw this diagram. Okay, so that will be much, if I explain you how to draw this diagram, then the things will be more clear to you. Okay, so you can simply do things. Okay, so you just take a piece of paper and marks the, first you take 100% pure water. 100% pure water means pure water, no sugar is there, pure water. Okay, now what you do, you have taken pure water in a beaker. Okay, now you start adding sugar into it. Now we are doing the experiment at room temperature. Say, so suppose this is the room temperature, we are doing at room temperature 25 degrees Celsius, say for example. Okay, 25 degrees Celsius. At 25 degrees Celsius you have taken a beaker that is filled with the water. Now you start adding sugar into it. So suppose you have added 10% sugar. Okay, you find that it is dissolved. Now you add 20% sugar, same at same temperature, 20%, then you find that it is also dissolved. Now you add 30% sugar, you will find that it is also dissolved. Now 40%, you find that it is also dissolved. Now you just add 50%, you find that it is also dissolved. Now you have taken, suppose for example 55%, and it is not dissolved, some sugar is left. So you will mark this point like this. So you just take a other color, so you will mark this point like this. Now take the same beaker, pure water again, but now at different temperatures. Suppose at 50 degrees Celsius you have taken, 50 degrees Celsius, or you say 40 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius. Let me write it clearly. Suppose, let me make it. Okay, suppose you have taken 40 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the water is 40 degrees Celsius. Now you start adding the sugar into it. So 10% you will add, it will be dissolved, 20% dissolved, 30%, 40%, 50%, 55, and it will more than 55. So here you will get another point. So this is the maximum limit which can dissolve at 40 degrees Celsius. Similarly, you will do this experiment for 60 degrees Celsius. You will find that more sugar will dissolve. You will get point here. So when you are going to combine, so repeat the same experiment at 100 degrees Celsius of the system. Now you get this point. So just join this point, you will get something like this. So this is how you can get the solubility limit curve. Beyond this point, you will get syrup plus sugar, means syrup, that is sugar solution, plus sugar, means some of the sugar will not be dissolved beyond this point. Beyond this line, when you come beyond this line, you will find that syrup will be there, but some sorts of sugar will also be there, that is left undissolved. But in this case, up to here, you will able to find the syrup. Syrup means the sugar is completely dissolved in the water. So this is the reason for syrup. Syrup is nothing but the sugar solution, means sugar is completely dissolved in the water, that is known as the syrup. Here some sugar is dissolved, so syrup will be there, and also some sugar will be left undissolved. It will remain as in the solute form. So beyond this line, you can see you are having two phase sugar plus syrup. Here you are having a single phase, that is the syrup, that is the sugar solution. So this is the concept of solubility limit. Okay. So I hope the things are clear to you. So let me move forward. I have explained it once again so that the things becomes clear to you. Okay. Now we will go to our PPT. Just a minute. Give me a second. Yes. Okay, so here we have discussed these things. Okay, now the thing is effect of temperature and composition on phase diagram. So these things I have already discussed, but let's see once more. So suppose this is the phase diagram, water sugar system. Okay, suppose this is the phase diagram and you are at point A, means you are at 20 degrees Celsius and you are having 70% sugar concentration. So 20%, 20 degrees Celsius, this is the line, and 70% concentration, this is the line. So this is will meet at point A. So point A represent 20 degrees Celsius and 70% concentration. So here we are having two phases. So I have written two phases. What will be the phases? Liquid plus solid sugar, means syrup plus solid sugar will be there. Now suppose you want to, from two phase, you want to move to the single phase. So what you have to do? You just heat it up. By the time you are going to cross this line, suppose you want to go from this two phase mixture to one phase mixture. So what you have to do? You just heat it up. You just heat it up, and by the time you are going to reach over here, you will going to get a syrup only. So by just changing the temperature, you can move from two phase, that is liquid plus solid sugar, to single phase, that is nothing but the liquid solution or syrup. Okay, now suppose you are here, you are in the single phase region. Suppose you are having 70% but at 100 degrees Celsius. So this will be the point. Now you want to move from this region to a two phase region. So what you do? You just keep on adding the more amount of sugar. So by the time you are adding more amount of sugar, you will find that by the time you are going to add more than 80% of sugar, it will comes to this region. Okay, so again you came into the two phase regions. From single phase region, if you keep on adding the sugar, you will come to the two phases region. So you have seen that what is the effect of temperature and composition on the phase diagram. Just by increasing the temperature, you can reach from two phase region to a single phase region. And suppose you are in the single phase region, just by adding more amount of sugar into it, you can reach to this two phase region. Okay. because at 100% also there is some sort of solubility limit. When you cross this point, you will come into the two-phase region again. So that is the liquid plus solid sugar. So that I have written over here. Okay, so changing temperature can change number of phases. So here you just see, you just change the temperature and from two phase you reach to one phase. So number of phases is changed. Path A to B. Changing concentration can also change the number of phases. So you here see, you are at this point, you keep on adding sugar at this point. What will happen? You will come in this region because sugar will add and you will come to this region. So from one phase to two phase region, you can get by changing the concentration from path B to path D. Okay, I hope the things are very clear to you. Okay, now we will move to some more concepts, some more technical terms in the phase diagram. Now we will see what is the phase equilibrium. This equilibrium concept is very important to understand because all these phase diagrams, when we draw, this is nothing but the equilibrium phase diagram. Okay, so first we will understand what is equilibrium. So minimum energy state for a given temperature, pressure and composition. Okay, so minimum energy state of a system for a given temperature, pressure and composition is nothing but the equilibrium. So equilibrium state will persist indefinitely for a fixed temperature, pressure and composition. If you are not going to change the temperature, pressure and composition, so that equilibrium or that minimum energy state will be there for an indefinite period of time. If you are going to change the temperature or pressure or composition, then equilibrium will get disturbed. Okay, so when we are going to define an equilibrium state, we are supposed to specify the temperature, pressure and composition. Okay, so this is the equilibrium. Now what is phase equilibrium? Now phase equilibrium means here we are having more than one phases, then only we can talk about the phase equilibrium. So if there is more than one phase present, phase characteristics will stay constant over time. So the phase characteristics is going to be constant over time, means it is not going to change. Then we can call it as a phase equilibrium. Okay. Now just to understand this phase equilibrium, let us take the example of again water and ice system. Now at the room temperature, suppose you have taken a glass full of water and you put ice into it. So at room temperature, what you will find? All the ice is going to melt into the water. Okay, but if this system you place in a refrigerator at 0 degrees Celsius, then what you will find? Neither this ice is going to melt nor this water is going to freeze. Means both this phase are in equilibrium. Means ice water equilibrium. So the amount of ice that is converted into water, that same amount of water is going to convert into ice. So that is known as the phase equilibrium, because we are having more than one phase. Ice is one phase and water is one phase. Okay, so let me explain you these things again. Let me take the help of this whiteboard again. This I am very much emphasizing on this concept because this is very important to understand. Once you understand this very basic definitions, then in the coming lectures you won't be face any difficulty. So let me rough all these things. So phase equilibrium, we are supposed to explain what is phase equilibrium. Phase equilibrium. What is phase equilibrium? If more than one phases are present, then the phase characteristics is independent on time. Means with time it is not going to change. Now, in order to explain that concept, just take a beaker full of water, okay, at room temperature, say 25 degrees Celsius. We are having a beaker filled with water, and then you put ice into it. What you will find? The whole ice is going to melt, and the whole ice will going to melt, and it will become water. It will become water at 25 degrees at room temperature. Say at room temperature. At room temperature. Now, this system you kept in refrigerator at 0 degrees Celsius. Maintain this, refrigerate this system, refrigerate at 0 degrees Celsius. Now you will not find that ice is going to melt into water. This system will remain indefinitely like this only for a infinite period of time. So what is happening over here? This is ice is there and water is there. So ice water equilibrium will be maintained at 0 degrees Celsius. Ice water equilibrium is there. Now what does it mean? The one way of saying is that the system will remain as such, means no ice is going to melt or no water is going to freeze. In other words, you can say that the amount of ice that is converted into water, the same amount of water is going to freeze into ice, so that nothing will going to change, means phase will remain same for an indefinite period of time. So there are two ways to say the things. One, there is nothing happening to this system, ice will remain as such, or you can say that at 0 degrees Celsius, the amount of ice that is converted into water, the same amount of water is converted into ice, so that the phase characteristics is not going to change. Okay, this is what is known as the phase equilibrium, means the phase characteristics is going to be constant and it is not going to be changed with the time. So this is the concept of phase equilibrium. Now, what then we will come to define this phase diagram. So what this phase diagram? So phase diagram tell us about equilibrium phases. Mind you here, phase diagram is going to tell us about the equilibrium phases that is present in a system as a function of temperature, pressure and composition. So here we will always keep pressure as constant, because all the experiments that we do at a constant pressure. So that's why we always keep pressure as a constant. So what this phase diagram tell us? It will tell us about the equilibrium phases that is present in a system as a function of temperature, pressure and composition, means at different temperature, at different pressure and composition, what will be the phases present in a system. Because you have seen that with respect to temperature, pressure and composition, this phases is going to change. As we have seen in the case of water and sugar system, by changing the temperature we can change the number of phases, and also by changing the composition we can change the number of phases. Okay, so here you have seen but how just by changing the temperature, you see here, by changing the temperature from two phase we reach to one phase. By changing the composition from this to this, you see from one phase we reach to the two phase. So we are having the effect of temperature and pressure on this phase diagram. Okay, so what this phase diagram tell us? Phase diagram tell us about the equilibrium phases as a function of temperature, pressure and composition. Means if you are going to change the temperature or composition, what will be the phases present in a particular system. Pressure variation we are not going to see, because we are always going to keep pressure as a constant, that is 1 atmospheric pressure. Okay, so we are not going to study the effect of pressure over here. Okay, simply we will see how this temperature and composition is going to change the number of phases present in a system. So that things is told by a diagram, that is nothing but a phase diagram. So phase diagram, how you can define? It can tell us about the equilibrium phases as a function of temperature and composition. Okay, I hope these things are clear to you. Any doubt so far? Yes, Arjun is there. Arjun,
Yes, sir.
is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these concepts you are supposed to read it again and again. If you have any doubt, then please ask me, because once you are going to build a very strong base of this concept, this technical terms, then you will easily going to grasp the thing that is going to come in the coming lecture. Okay. So in this particular module, we are going to discuss a number of phase diagrams. Okay, so that's why I have emphasis what is equilibrium, what is phase equilibrium, and what is phase diagram. Okay. Now, types of phase diagram. So based on the number of components, phase diagram can be of three types. Means if the system is consist of one component only, then we call it as a unary phase diagram. Okay, we call it as a unary phase diagram. Okay, if the system has two component, and then if we are going to draw the phase diagram, then it is known as the binary phase diagram. If the system has three component, then it will be known as the tertiary phase diagram. Okay, now, one component means, suppose if you have taken any metal, suppose you have taken, say for example, aluminium, pure aluminium, nothing is there, pure aluminium is there. So it will be only one component. Now, with aluminium, you suppose say you added some amount of copper, then two component will be there. Okay, because aluminium is one component, one chemical species, copper is another species. So there will be two component. Okay, similarly, if there are three component, then that will be known as the tertiary phase diagram. Okay. Now, if I ask you which type of phase diagram does the ice water system belongs? So ice water means we have only one component, because H2O will be there, whether in ice or in water, only one component is there. So the phase diagram of water is nothing but the unary phase diagram. Okay. Similarly, if you are having two component, okay, suppose right now we have seen the water sugar diagram, phase diagram. So there we are having two component, because water is one component and C6H12O6, that is glucose, is another component. So that will be a two component, that is binary phase diagram. Also we are having a tertiary phase diagram when we are having the three components. So all these three types of diagram we are going to see in our coming lectures. So based on the number of components, number of chemical species present in the system, we can classify the phase diagram into three different types. If one component is present, we call it as a unary phase diagram. If two component is present, we call it as a binary phase diagram. And if three component is present, we call it as a tertiary phase diagram. Component is nothing but the number of chemical species present, independent chemical species present in the system. Okay. So any doubt so far? Yes, if you have any doubt, please let me know. Yes, please respond. If you have any doubt, then let me know. Abdul Khader, Abdul Khader.
Yeah, understood, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now we will come to unary phase diagram. Okay. Now suppose you have taken 100% copper, nothing is there. You have taken 100% pure copper. Now what will happen when you are going to heat copper? 100% pure copper is there. Now you start heating the copper. What will happen? It will come to the molten state at 1085 degrees Celsius. So the melting point of copper is 1085 degrees Celsius. So at this point, what will happen? All this solid copper is going to change into the liquid copper. Okay, so here this is the temperature I am increasing. So if here we are having pure copper, so that is nothing but if you have taken pure copper, so if you are going to see the effect of temperature, that will be the unary phase diagram. Okay, so you have nothing over here in addition to copper. So pure copper is here and you start hitting the copper, then you will find that at 1085 degrees Celsius all this copper, all this solid copper is going to change into the liquid copper. So if anybody will ask you draw the unary phase diagram of pure copper, then this will be your diagram, unary phase diagram for pure copper. So if you heat the copper at 1085 degrees Celsius, it will convert into liquid. So at this point the solid copper is started converting into the liquid. So here we are having liquid region and here we are having solid region. Before melting point there will be solid and after melting point there will be complete liquid. Now, similarly, when you soon nickel, 100% nickel is there and you will start hitting the nickel. So you will find that at 1453 degrees Celsius, all this nickel, solid nickel will be converted into the liquid nickel. Okay, means this is the melting point of nickel, that is 1453 degrees Celsius, that is very higher than the copper. So when you take 100% nickel and then you start increasing the temperature of this nickel, then at 1453 degrees Celsius you will find that all this solid nickel will convert into the liquid. So if someone will ask you draw the phase diagram of pure nickel, 100% pure nickel, so this will be your diagram. Okay, so you just draw a temperature line. You cannot be having this composition line because you are having 100% nickel, no other element is there. So you just draw 100% nickel line and you see the effect of temperature. So at below 1453 degrees Celsius, it will be a solid nickel, but at 1453 degrees Celsius, it will start melting into the liquid nickel. So at this point, you are going to have, above this point, you are going to have liquid nickel. Now the question is, what happen when we mix copper and nickel? Now the question is here, now the two component is involved, means you are mixing nickel in copper or copper in nickel. Then what will happen? Are we going to get the same diagram? No. Now the phase diagram is known as the binary phase diagram because here we are adding nickel into copper or copper into nickel, vice versa. So the phase diagram will also change. Now we will see what will happen when we will add some nickel into copper. Okay, so when we are having two component like this copper and nickel, then the phase diagram that we are going to get is known as the binary phase diagram. Now in this binary phase diagram, there are two types of diagram. Okay, one is phase diagram and other is known as the binary eutectic phase diagram. Mind you, both will have two component only. Okay, but let us see why this two classification is there. in binary isomorphous phase diagram, complete liquid and solid solubility is there, means the two component that you are going to add, that is soluble in each other in the liquid as well as in the solid condition, means in the solid condition also and in the liquid condition also, these two components are soluble in each other. If you take copper nickel, then it will show the complete solubility in each other, either in the liquid state as well as in the solid state. Similar is the case for the silver and gold. This is the completely soluble in each other in both condition, in the liquid condition as well as in the solid condition. But if this will not be the case, so when the two components are soluble in the liquid state, means completely soluble in the liquid state but has limited solubility in the solid state, means the two components that we are adding that are soluble in the liquid state completely, means whatever be the concentration of two you are going to take, that are completely soluble in each other but has limited solubility in solid state, means in the solid state those two components are not soluble in each other. For example, copper and silver, lead and tin. So these two binary phase diagram of copper and silver and lead and tin, these are binary eutectic phase diagram. This will represent binary eutectic phase diagram. Why? Because these two are soluble in the liquid state but has limited solubility in the solid state. But in the case of copper nickel, silver gold and germanium silicon, these two components are completely soluble in liquid as well as in the solid states. That why these two, the phase diagram of copper nickel belongs to isomo binary, means two, because we are having two. Isomorphous means completely soluble in liquid as well as in solid condition. So this system will show binary isomorphous phase diagram, but when the two components that has been added is have complete solubility in the liquid state but limited solubility in the solid state, then it will represent a binary eutectic phase diagram. So this is how this binary isomorphous diagram looks like. Simply just have a look only. I will explain it, but simply you have a look. So you can see when you are having complete solid as well as liquid solubility, you are going to get this type of diagram. Okay. But if you are not going to have complete solid solubility of the two components in each other, then this type of diagram you are going to get. So here you see, this is the copper silver, this is the copper silver phase diagram I have taken. So this is the copper silver phase diagram. Okay, copper silver binary eutectic phase diagram. So eutectic phase diagram looks like this, and isomorphous phase diagram will looks like this. Okay, so we will look into the detail of all these types of phase diagrams. Okay, so first we will see the copper nickel binary phase diagram, means binary isomorphous phase diagram, where the two components that we have taken is completely soluble in each other in the liquid as well as in the solid condition. Okay. Now let me make use of this Microsoft Word to explain this. Now we will see the Microsoft whiteboard and we will see how to draw this binary isomorphous phase diagram. So here we are going to look at binary isomorphous, means the two components that we are going to add is complete soluble in solid state as well as in liquid state. So binary isomorphous phase diagram. So here I am going to take the example of copper and nickel system. Copper and nickel, because you have seen that copper and nickel are completely soluble in each other in the liquid as well as in the solid state. That's why copper nickel system comes under this binary isomorphous phase diagram. Now what you have to do, suppose you have taken here you are having 100% copper, no nickel is there, 100% copper is there at this point, 100% copper is there. Okay, now you will find that I have already told you, when you have 100% copper and when you increase the temperature here, this is the temperature axis, start heating. So at one point, that is 1085 degrees Celsius, at 1085 degrees Celsius, sorry, 1085 degrees Celsius, let me write it clearly. So this is 1085 degrees Celsius, 1085 degree Celsius. Then this solid copper will convert into liquid. Similarly, when you take 100% nickel over here, this is 100% nickel, then you will find that at this temperature, what is this temperature? 1453 degrees Celsius, all this nickel is going to melt into liquid nickel. Now suppose you have 100% copper here, then this will be the diagram, and 100% nickel, then this will be the diagram. Now in the copper you have added 10% say nickel, means 90% is copper and 10% is nickel. Okay, then you will find that initially the melting point is this. Now you will find that all this mixture, means copper nickel mixture, that 90% copper and 10% nickel, is not going to melt at a particular temperature. You will find that the melting of the system starts from here, and when you increase the temperature, the final system is converted into liquid at this temperature only, means the 90% copper and 10% nickel will start melting at this point. Start melting means the solid is start converted into liquid at this point, and the whole system is converted only when you will raise up to this temperature. Similarly, when you add 20% nickel, you will find that 20% nickel means 20% nickel and 80% copper. Then you will find that here we are having this, the system is start going to melt over here, and the complete melting will occur at this temperature, means there is a range of temperature between which the complete melting occur. Similarly, when you take 30%, you will find that it is going to start melting over here and finally here. Okay, so for all, if you are going to draw these two lines, when you are going to join this line, so a diagram will come like this. Okay, so here you are having only solid, here you are having only solid, that is represented by alpha. Okay, because below this point everything is solid, so this region is known as a solid because everything is solid. And when you see this region, so in this region you are having alpha plus liquid, because the system starts going to melt from here. So when you move from this point above this point, so some liquid will be there, because melting starts over here and completes over here. So in between, some of the liquid will also be there. So this region will be having alpha plus liquid, means solid as well as liquid will be there in this region. Now when you reach above this point, above this line, so everything will be liquid only. Everything will be liquid only. So there are three reasons. So below this line, everything will be solid, no matter how much you add. If you add this 80% nickel, then you have to heat at this temperature. At this temperature, melting will occur, and final melting will complete at this point. Okay. So above this line, everything is liquid. Below this line, everything is solid, and in between these two lines, there will be liquid plus solid. Okay. Now, what this line represent? Is there any name of this line? Yes, there is a name of these two lines. The region which separates liquid with liquid and solid region, means this line, if you can see this region, and this line separates liquid region with liquid plus solid region. So then this is known as the liquidus line. This is known as the liquidus line. This is known as the liquidus line. What is liquidus line? The line which separates liquid region with solid and liquid region. Okay. So here liquid region separates, this line separates the liquid region with solid plus liquid region. Then this is known as the liquidus line. Now this line is known as the solidus line. Solidus line. What is the solidus line? The line which separates the solid and liquid region with the solid region. Then this line is known as the solidus line. Mind you, there is difference. If you can see this line separates liquid region with liquid and solid region. That's why this is known as the liquidus line. And this line separates the liquid and solid region with the solid region. Okay, so here we are having solid, here we are having liquid plus solid, and here we are having this line. So this line, what it does, it separates solid region with the liquid and solid region. That's why it is known as the solidus line. And if the line separates the liquid region with the liquid and solid region, then this is known as the liquidus line. These are the very technical terms that you are supposed to understand. Okay, when you are studying this phase diagram, you are supposed to understand all these things. Yes, any doubt? Yes, if you have any doubt, then please ask. Yes, anybody is having any doubt? Yes, Alan John. Alan John. Alistair Ryan. Alistair Ryan. Alistair Ryan. Can you listen me? Arvind Hugar. Arvind Hugar. Arvind. Arvind, is it clear? Yes, Arvind, can you listen me? Ashwin Kumar Maurya. Ashwin.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. So let me again clear these things with the help of PPT. Let me share the PPT with you. So you can see here the same things is shown over here. So if you take 20% nickel and 80% copper, then the melting starts over here and complete over here. If you take 40%, the melting starts over here, complete over here. When you going to join all these lines by taking different amount of nickel, then you are going to get this type of diagram. So below this line, everything is solid. Above this line, everything is liquid. Now what is liquidus line? The line which separates liquid region with the liquid and solid region, that is known as the liquidus line. So this is nothing but the liquidus line, and the line which separates the solid with the solid plus liquid region, that is known as the solidus line. So just try to understand this concept. Okay, when we are going to finish the lecture today, then just relax at home and try to understand this diagram, and if you have any doubt, then please let me know so that I can clear your doubt. Okay, once you start understanding this subject, this subject is very useful for you people. As a mechanical engineer, you are supposed to know all these things, because new material, whenever you are going to try develop new material, the understanding of this phase diagram is very important, because you might be seeing that day by day new materials are coming. So for in the development of all those material, that this phase diagram, concept of phase diagram is very useful. Okay, so that's why if you understand this, then you will be able to develop new materials also. Okay, so that's why these are the very good important concepts in the phase diagram. Please try to understand this very technical details, then we will see also something related with the this binary phase diagram in the next lecture. Okay, so this is what is the copper nickel binary phase diagram. Okay, so this I will explain in the when we will come to the eutectic phase diagram, then we will discuss this diagram. So as of now, you just have a look into this eutectic phase diagram, that how this is different from the binary phase diagram. So the shape of this binary phase diagram, binary isomorphous phase diagram, is like this, but when you are having eutectic, you are having a diagram similar to this one. So we will discuss this eutectic phase diagram in detail when we will come to this eutectic phase diagram. Now in the coming lectures, we are going to concentrate on this isomorphous phase diagram. Okay, isomorphous phase diagram. Now when I was explaining you the definition of phase diagram, I have told you what the phase diagram tells us. It tells us the effect of temperature and composition on the number of phases. Okay, so you can also see here this phase diagram. With the help of this phase diagram, we will able to know at what temperature what phases are present in the copper nickel system. So copper nickel system you can take, and you can tell us if I will ask you that there is a system of copper with 40% nickel, then what will be the phases present at 1400 degrees Celsius? Then you will move like this, and 40% like this, the point of intersection will come here. Then you will say that it will be having only one phase, that is the liquid phase. Now suppose if I ask you what will be the phases present in the copper nickel system of 48% nickel at 1200 degrees Celsius, then you just see here 1200 degrees Celsius, 40% nickel means it is going to be in this region. Then you can tell that it belongs to two phase region, means liquid will be there and solid will also be there. So this is what we have studied, the definition of the phase diagram. It tells us about the equilibrium phases that are present in a system in response to temperature and composition. Why we have not taken pressure over here? Because I have already told you all the phase diagrams is been drawn at constant pressure only. That's why we haven't included pressure over here. Since we are conducting or making this phase diagram at constant pressure, so we will not going to see the effect of pressure over here. Okay, we are going to see only the effect of temperature and composition. I hope these things are clear. So in today's class, what we have discussed? We have discussed about the solubility limit. We have seen the water and sugar system and defined the solubility limit. Next, we have seen about the definitions of the equilibrium. What is equilibrium? What is phase equilibrium? Okay, then we have seen about the what is phase diagram. What phase diagram tell us? Then we have seen the types of phase diagram, in which we have seen that there are 3 different types of phase diagram depending upon the number of components present in the system. If only one component is present, then we are going to call it as a unary phase diagram. If 2 component is present, then we are going to call it as a binary phase diagram. Okay, in the binary phase diagram, we are having 2 types. One is the isomorphous phase diagram, other is the eutectic phase diagram. When we call it as isomorphous phase diagram, when the 2 components are having liquid as well as solid solubility in each other, then we are going to call it as the isomorphous phase diagram, and it will look like this. Now, when the 2 components that has been added is completely soluble in the liquid state but has limited solubility in the solid state, then for such system we are going to get a diagram that is known as the binary eutectic phase diagram. Why binary? Because still there are 2 components only, that's why this is binary. Eutectic means completely soluble in liquid state but has limited solubility in solid state. That's why here the word eutectic is there. Okay, and the binary eutectic phase diagram will look like this. So we will study this eutectic phase diagram in detail when we will come to this eutectic phase diagram lecture. Now in the coming lectures, our main focus will be on this binary isomorphous phase diagram. Okay. Yes, Duleshwar Prasad.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. Bhagat H. Bhagat H.
Sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me see. Let me download the attendance. Now let me tell you once more, because many of you have not joined in the session 1. Then let me remind you, I have uploaded a quiz on the Edge, and it's scheduled on 19th of September. That is Saturday, coming Saturday, from 3 to 3:30 p.m. Okay. So please, all of you, attend the quiz. And if anybody's name is not reflecting in the Edge, just let me know before the quiz. Okay, so that I can do something for you. And all of you have to attend the quiz. Okay, very simple questions are there. Okay, just by reading out the PPT again and again, you are able to solve the questions, but the questions are not straightforward, so you have to put some effort into this. Okay, so let me see, I have downloaded the attendance or not. Okay, so the attendance has been downloaded. If anybody is having any doubt, then you can ask. Any doubt you can ask. Whatever we have studied so far, if you are having any doubt in any of the things, you can ask me. So no doubt is there. So shall we stop here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we are going to stop here. So tomorrow we are having an extra class from 3 to 4 p.m. Okay, so please be ready and revise the things, because when you revise the things, then only the doubt will come into your mind and then you can ask to me. So tomorrow there is one extra class from 3 to 4 p.m. Okay, so please be there. Okay, we will have our discussion on the binary isomorphous phase diagram. Okay, so till then, take care and bye bye.
Thank you, sir.